The sun came up this morning, and we're still alive here after a tough, really 24 hours. We put the chapter to sleep last night as a team. Watched the tape, looked at all the mistakes that we made, and made our corrections. And I think anytime you have a loss like that, you have to learn from it. And I think our kids will learn. In my 30 years of coaching, or whatever it's been, I don't know if I've seen a team as maturely take that. I think I mentioned after the game, the locker room was really quiet. I think last night, I don't know if I've been in a team meeting where they were as quiet as I've seen, which tells me it hurts like a coach. And I think that's what you want as a coach. For years and years and years, okay? You jump on a bus on a away trip, and then you hear some clowning around going on in the back of the bus. And as a coach, man, it's like, we have no life. This is our life. And as players, they got, girlfriend text them, someone tweeted this or that, and they go back to normal life. But I think really it hit our kids in the stomach, like, what just happened today. And sometimes you need a wake-up call to figure out really what's real, what's fake. Who do you listen to? And, I think sometimes you listen to the outside noise and it can affect you. But I think our guys learned. Like I said, quietest meeting I've been in, focused, locked in. So I like where we are after that loss. I mean, if a loss could be good for you, I think it's going to be good for us. We'll see how we respond. I think that's going to be the key this week in practice. And, from our history, we always respond, and that's what I expect. I think we got great senior leadership, and we left a lot of plays on the field. On both sides of the ball, I thought special teams played, really probably good enough to win. When you look at the punting of Chris Tudulu, the field goal kicking out of Kessman, there was a lot of bright spots and a lot of young guys playing on special teams as well. Guys like Rashad Battle that I've praised. So there was good on both sides of the ball. There was, we didn't start well on defense and we didn't finish well. In between, we were pretty darn good. Offensively, our pass protection was pretty good. We turned one guy loose and got Kenny hit with a targeting call. But, the protection was solid, most of the day when you're looking. I think someone asked me Saturday after the game what the protection looked like. And obviously there's little mistakes here and there that we can correct. But one glaring one was when we missed a, run through. And again, that's, something we'll continue to clean up and not let Kenny get hit like he got hit on that one. Because we never want to see our quarterback take a hit, plus a targeting. That'll be on every official's targeting tape for the rest of the next couple of years, I guess. But looking forward to the challenge of a good Boston College football team. I mean, Jeff Hafley, I've known Jeff for a while. I know he's a former Pitt coach, along with Frank Signetti, two guys with Pittsburgh ties. So it'll be personal to them. It'll be personal for us. Again, Jeff's got that team, on really all three phases playing tough. I mean, he's those defensive guys stick together, but he's a tough, physical, well-coached football team on both sides, and special teams. That's what you see out of them. They're a good football team. They took, North Carolina to the end. They fight back and beat, a Texas State football team. And, really, that's the last 2 weeks, but, really, really good football team. Obviously on offense, Signetti runs it, I guess. Obviously got a ton of experience as an offensive coordinator. Phil Jakovic, he's the guy, throwing the ball. They're a lot more, pass oriented. I mean, they really want to throw the ball. It seems like with Phil and his arm, and he's got a lot of confidence in his arm. They're, heavier pass, so we'll have to, tighten up our coverage a lot more from what it would look like last week. We'll have to play a lot better at the number one receiver. Because we got pushed off last week, so we're going to have to fight into that, and we'll coach the heck out of that this week. That's happened a few years back with Virginia Tech, and they came in on a Thursday night, and we saw it. So we'll probably see a lot more push off, catch the ball the rest of the season. So we'll coach it and get better at that, and throw that on the coaches' plate as far as things we could have done better. As we always, as coaches, take a lot of the blame as far as what happens in a game in any respect. But, really good offense. I mean, they're Zay Flowers is a wideout that's really good. Their tailbacks are great. Tight end number 80, Hunter is an exceptional player. He's got like 48 targets on the year in 3 games. Hunter Long, that is. But he's talented. He's as good a tight end as you're going to see. He'll be playing on Sundays and be a first or second round pick, I'm guessing, based on the way he runs and makes plays. So I think that's about it. Defensively they're tough. Isaiah McDuffie, one of the linebackers, really stands out to you. Max Richardson as well. 2 inside linebackers that make a lot of plays. Pressure off the edge. They're well coached. So questions. Alan, there's a lot of similarities. They run a lot of the same kind of run concepts. They like to they run a pro play called the push play where they're trying to get double teams and just really knock you back and see if they can just push the line of scrimmage. But it appears that they just kind of run the ball just to say they ran it, but they really want to throw the football. And like I said, we're going to have to be really good in our pass defense. Structurally, we'll have to change a few things just to make sure that we secure our passing game. But there are similarities.
Pat, how about your run game? What have you been able to notice in film study, and what's been missing in that regard?
We've been playing 3 down football teams for the last couple of weeks, so we'll go to 4 down with Boston College. But we just didn't get much movement up front. What's the reason? I don't know, but I think our O-line played average or below average. We outrushed them. It's some funny things you look at. North Carolina State's either first or second in the ACC in rushing, averaging 220 yards per game, and they get whatever yards they got, but we outrushed them. So when we can talk about run games, we weren't second in the ACC a week ago, but there's some good things going on. But then we got to finish, and again give those other guys some credit. They had good scheme. They got a nose tackle that's 245 pounds probably. We just played average up front. So if we keep playing average, we won't run the ball very well. But it all starts up front, on the O-line and the D-line. If you're going to stop the run and run the football, you better win up front. We've got to get more movement. We were on the right people most of the time, and but you got to move them off the line of scrimmage.
And on that, I guess we're 17 games into the Mark Whipple era, here. What do you think this offense's identity is kind of through almost a season and a half now?
I evaluate it, game by game. The identity is, we scored 29 points, which I hope is enough to win a football game. If I don't go for, blame me. If I don't go for it on 4th and 1, and I kick a field goal down there, maybe we win the game. Who knows how that changes the game? But I felt like, we should be able to get it in. We got 4 plays from the 1. You may be a stubborn head coach, but if I didn't go for it on 4th and 1, you guys would be yelling at me because I didn't go for it 4th and 1 down there. So either way, you lose. But we expect to score touchdowns. I'm happy with the way Kenny's playing. Kenny played an outstanding game, guys, and played well enough to win, like our special teams did. He threw the ball well. He maybe his best game this year so far. The pass protection was great by the O-line as well. We pass protected pretty darn well. Kenny threw it well. Receivers, caught the ball most of the time, but, we're not perfect, nor are those guys on Sunday yesterday as I see drop balls as I walk in and out of my office. It's about winning football games, John, our job on offense is to score more points than the opponent, and we've done that, a good part of the time, and there's sometimes we don't. So, but that's like everybody in the country. It's a team game. We got to play good in all 3 phases. I can tell you that. We don't put it. There's no finger pointing over here. You guys can point fingers all you want, but we don't point fingers over here. This is guy right here. If I point the finger, you guys can point it at me.
Jerry, we're going to try you again. Can you unmute yourself?
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We got him.
Okay, good. All right. I got a good one for you, Pat. You mentioned at the beginning that the team was quiet as late as last night's team meeting, and you said that's a good sign. Why do you think that's a good sign?
Because I know how I feel. Okay, I know how I feel, and you get pissed off. You're pissed what happened, and like I said, I'd get mad when they don't get mad. when they're laughing and giggling, I'm like, like how important is it to you? So to me, it's important to those guys. Again, I talk about our senior leadership, talk about our captains. It was serious. Now, again, then they go to eat afterwards, but just locked into business. I mean, it's a good thing because they care. And if they don't care and if they're all clowning around and laughing and giggling. I mean, I've walked in team meetings after you get beat by 20 and the guys are all laughing like, do you know what happened less than 24 hours ago? Like it just, but that's the age we're in, and kids they let it go quickly, Jerry. Adults don't, because like I said, it's our life. And it's what we love to do. It's what our passion is to go out there and coach and win. We all want to win. And, our kids want to win. But, if you don't win, it's like, oh, okay, let's go move on to the next thing. What are we going to win tonight? But they were locked in. I think they understand how much sacrifices they've made this year with the pandemic that we're in, and that, it's like, man, we're doing all this. Like, we can't go out and play like that. And, it comes down to having your mind right. And I obviously didn't do a great job of getting them mentally prepared to come in and play that football game, for whatever it is. And again, sometimes you have to learn by the fire there. And I think that's really what happened.
Pat, you mentioned talking to the captains and the veterans. I guess you're referring to the Eagles there. Do you talk to them every Sunday? Did you talk to them before the team meeting? I guess how did that conversation go?
I'll talk to them usually Monday, and we'll text back and forth in groups or whatever. So it's not, I don't have a captains meeting where I bring them in. But I always want to feel what they think, what they hear, what they just the feel of the team, and we've got good leadership. So.
After watching the tape, I mean, what did you think of your pass rush, and how come it wasn't quite as effective as it was the first 3 games?
Probably because we were a little bit undisciplined early. We did a poor job. Like I said, it starts with me of just preparing our kids for, the double clap cadence and all that. We hadn't seen a lot of it going in, and we did a poor job of, we'll never let it happen again. We, clap or not, hard cadence or not, we got to work it every week. But our kids have been so used to taking off and going. They slowed us down. I think that's one of the things is, 17 play drive slowed us down. Too many critical errors, as far as just pre-snap penalties. And that slowed us down. They got the ball out quick. I told you, Leary's a good football player, good quarterback. I knew he was the best quarterback. I knew early in the week that was going to be the guy that was their man. And he played really well. He's a good quarterback, and North Carolina State's going to win a lot of football games this year because of him.
Have you had any trepidation about using Kenny so much in short yardage situations the way you did, just from his health standpoint, or is that something you've kind of always been okay with, just haven't done as much as you did yesterday?
You're talking short yardage. You're talking quarterback sneaks.
Yeah.
Kenny wants the ball. Like, he wanted it earlier. Kenny wants the ball all the time. Matter of fact, Kenny, pulled a couple zone reads that he's not supposed to, thinking, hey, I'm going to go make the play. If you guys aren't going to make a play, I'm going to make a play. And, that's wrong. I mean, those are the little things, the details that he's just got to read and not just say, hey, I'm going to be the guy, I'm going to be the hero. So, he made more mistakes, really in the run game as far as pulling it a couple of times when he shouldn't have. But Kenny's a tough guy. There's, you want the ball in number 8's hands. Like I said, he played a heck of a ball game, and we have no regrets. Kenny's tough. Obviously, you worry about the cheap shots that he's taken, which we had a late hit on the quarterback, but it was one step. I don't even know how to coach that because I don't see it the same way. But that was a different penalty there.
Is Phil Jakovic playing the way you expected to see him play when you watched him in high school?
No question about it. He's got a quick release. He's got a strong arm. He's confident like he was in high school. He likes to take off running. If it's not there, he's taking off, and you're going to use those legs. He's a hard guy to get down. We've got to stress that he's not going to just be dragged down to the ground. He bumps people off of him. He shakes them. He does not feel like he's going down. So if we're going to get to him, we've got to get to him, and we've got to get all of them down to the ground. So we will be live on the quarterback this week, and we've got to get two hands on him. He's not going down with one hand. that's for sure. But he's exactly what you thought. They've done. Cignetti's done an outstanding job with him. He's confident. He's getting the ball out. They're not giving up sacks. He's throwing the ball, and he looks really, really good. He's a good football player. He's just as good or better than what we faced last week as a quarterback. And I thought Leary was really good.
Pat, on that, obviously you guys have a lot of local guys on the defense. Is it different or more exciting, or anything playing a quarterback that's also from the area that they're probably familiar with?
They're familiar. I mean, you'd have to ask DeMar and some of the other guys that may have played against him in high school, but that doesn't matter to me. It's like there's 11 guys out there. We got 11 guys. We got more Pittsburgh guys, and we got them outnumbered. Pittsburgh guys, I guess. But that's not going to be a factor in winning or losing. I think it makes it interesting for our kids. But I haven't said, hey, DeMar, you looking forward to playing Phil? It doesn't matter. There's no marriage there.
Pat, Jimmy said after the game that some of those success they had in that fourth quarter running the ball that you guys had was partially because the passing offense backed off NC State. Do you foresee you guys using the pass to set up the run more in the near future, or was that more of just a mid-game adjustment that won't have as much impact on your future game plans?
Again, if we're not running the ball well, then you're going to go to the pass and you're going to throw it, and then which will set up your run game. So I mean, either one of them could set it up. Last year, again, our pass game set up our run game. You talk about the hot hand at tailback. It's also how's our O-line playing, and if they're not knocking them off the ball and there's nothing to go to, then we're gonna go to what's working. I want first downs and I want touchdowns, and I don't care, run it, pass it. Let's get in the end zone. Let's see if we can make something happen.
Pat, you mentioned coaching up the corners and the coverage better. What is the challenge of trying to figure out what you can and can't do, and how do you try to relay that to your players?
I have no idea. I'm confused there, Jeff, on how to. It's hard to play defense. If they aren't going to call things both ways, and I can't answer that question. We just got to coach them better. We're just going to have to lean on them, and we just got we're going to man turn on them instead of zone turning. And we got to just do a better job physically, and we're capable of doing it. So we've done it before, and we'll have to just go back to it again, because if it's going to be that way, then it's got to be that way.
Pat, you guys kind of had a convenient start to the season in that 4 straight home games. Obviously now the final 7 games, 5 of them will be on the road, only 1 bye week in there. I guess, how prepared do you think this team is just for that kind of stretch run where you go on the road 5 times and stuff?
Hey, that's what it is. I think our kids enjoy going on the road, going to a different atmosphere. I think we're going to go to another quiet stadium, so that'll be no change for us. It's not like we're going to have to deal with any crowd noise. But the field is about the same size. Might have a little bit more extra sideline room or space or not. But it's playing the game of football, and there's 22 guys out on there. It doesn't really matter. I think the biggest challenge, when you talk about travel, is just traveling with the virus that's going on. I mentioned this way back in the summer, as far as 2-hour flights and wearing your mask the entire time on the plane. The chancellor said something today in a head coaches meeting that we had, and I thought it was like, wow, that was really good. Only a chancellor could think about it. He's like, it took us like 50 years to wear our learn how to wear a seatbelt. It took Ford or whoever came up with GM to if you don't put your seatbelt on, it's going to beep and annoy you till you put it on. We need some of those on the mask. If you got your mask hanging or on your chin, you need some beeping device to make sure you put that thing up, because that's about the best thing you can have. But I thought that was kind of interesting. It took everybody on this Zoom call time to figure out maybe I should wear a seatbelt. And it's the same thing with with these masks. We got to wear a mask for 2 hours on a flight, and there's talk of not even eating on the flight. You want to leave that thing up. I mean, we're around different people. We've stayed in our bubble. I know our kids are out on campus, but I don't know if the stewardess are getting tested. I don't know how all that thing works, but one of my philosophies been the last few weeks, and we've been really darn good, is to pretend like everybody's got COVID-19 and protect yourself. And we're gonna have to. That's going to be the biggest challenge. And it's the same thing in a hotel, different hotel. Who lives in that hotel? I think they're in the red up there. What are we in the green right now in Pittsburgh? I think they're in red in Boston. So we're going into a place that I want to make sure we come out of nice and clean too, because it's about the safety of our football team.
I think you mentioned week one that Austin P they were being tested in like the hangar at Pittsburgh Airport before, on that Friday, I guess, when they came in. Will you guys be tested at the Boston Airport? Or how does that work? How has that been explained to you?
It'll be wherever, whatever's most convenient for us. It'll be whatever's most convenient for Mako. And by the way, Mako's done an incredible job of just, I was stressed out early in the year, and they've eliminated a lot of stresses. That the results are coming back, whether it's a Sunday test, a Wednesday test, or a Friday test, to the point where you're not every day on edge. I'm talking back in the camp, it was like 7 days a week. You were like, you couldn't ever, catch a breath. But Mako has been incredible as far as how they operate, the diligence that they get our results back, and the quality of that company. So I couldn't say more things about him, but in that company. But the place where we'll get tested, I think this weekend will be right here in our facility, like we've been. So we'll get them done in the morning, and then they'll get them down to Carolina, where Mako is located, and then by the time we get up there, we should have some type of results, I guess, that evening sometime.
Are you guys using Mako for all 3 weekly tests now?
Yeah, yes, we are.
We have a final question for Coach.
Pat, you talked about the tight end long right off the top. What do you guys need to fix or improve after giving up 2 touchdowns to the tight end last week?
Play better coverage, get our hands on people, have better focus, better leverage, better eye control. But it comes down to eye control, and again, we were loose in coverage. We just didn't play. We didn't play our football game. And Cal, I also got to say, you look a little like Jeff Hafley. I thought Jeff Hafley was on our dang call today. Looks like Hafley's little brother. You sure you're not related?
I swear.
Okay.